Mic check 1 2. Uh, hello. Mic check 1 2. Okay, here we go. It's the inauguration time, and we have a Catholic priest that delivers the benediction for Donald Trump's inauguration. Here we go.
Almighty and eternal God, we gather here today in reverence.
Hold on. When he says Almighty Eternal God, who is he talking about? The Pope or God of the Bible? Don't know.
Joined in our shared hopes and dreams for our beloved nation. In this sacred moment of the inauguration of President Donald J. Trump and Vice President J.D. Vance, we turn our hearts to you, seeking your divine assistance.
You know, it's kind of weird. It's a little weird to me that we are seeing this because before 1776, when our forefathers came to this land, they were running away from the Pope. They didn't like the Pope telling them what to do, especially when it comes to religious matters. Our forefathers didn't like that, the Pope was there to kind of dictate what they would believe. So it's crazy to see that centuries later, is it centuries? Yes. 1776, it's now 2025. Years and years and years later, we have a Catholic priest delivering a benediction to a presidential inauguration. And so that I find strange. Check out From Babylon to America. Link in the description box below. From Babylon to America is a documentary that we've done. It's on Amazon Prime. It's a documentary about the beast, the second beast, the mark of the beast. Links in the description box below for those of you guys who want to know more about that, who want to have a documentary Bible study about that. We were running away from the Catholic Pope, and now we're here. It's weird. It's kind of strange. And we're right back to square one. Revelation 13 says this. Nope, that's not what it said. It says this. Revelation 13, starting from verse 1. Then I saw a beast coming up out of the sea, and he had 10 horns like a lamb. He had 10 horns and 7 heads. And there was a crown on each. Wait, this is ERV. Why am I on ERV? I'm a KJV guy. And I stood upon the sand of the sea, and I saw a beast rise up out of the sea, having 7 heads and 10 horns, and upon his horns 10 crowns, and upon his heads the names of blasphemy, or the name, singular, of blasphemy. Now we know that this is the papacy. We can see that also in verse 4, and they worship the dragon which gave power unto the beast, and they worship the beast, saying, who is like unto the beast, who is able to make war with him. So, union of church and state. They worship the beast, who is able to make war with the beast. That's in verse 4. In verse 5 it says, and there was given unto him a mouth speaking great things and blasphemies. Again, blasphemy in the Bible is when a man claims to be God, when a man claims to have the power to forgive sin, when a man claims to be Christ. Okay, that is blasphemy. Again, you guys can get that information in the documentaries From Babylon to America, From America to Babylon. Links are in the description box below if you guys want to watch it. Okay. We have the Pope here. In Revelation 13, that first beast is the Pope. The second beast, because in verse 10, Revelation 13, it says, he that leadeth into captivity shall go into captivity. He that killeth with the sword shall be killed with the sword. Here's the patience and the faith of the saints. So it's talking about that first beast who led into captivity. He himself had to go into captivity. He was killing with the sword, and he himself was killed with the sword. This was talking about that great 1798 arrest of the Pope, when Berthier went and arrested the Pope there. I forgot who it was. Was it Pope Pius the Third or something like that? He went to go arrest the Pope. The Pope had no head. A deadly wound. There was a deadly wound that was given there. I mean, the papacy had no head. There was a deadly wound there. That was 1798. And right there, that was verse 10. Verse 11 now, John sees another beast coming up out of the earth. And he had two horns like a lamb. And you can tell that in Revelation 13, starting from verse 11 all the way down to verse 18, you can tell that the second beast is a very prominent beast. So what is the only prominent beast? What is the only prominent nation that came up around 1798 when the papacy had went down? None other than the United States of America. None other than the United States of America. The United States of America came up around 1776, okay? That is shortly before 1798 when the papacy was going down. When the papacy was going down, America was going up. And so this was the only nation in the world that rose to prominency during that time. And it's interesting because Revelation 13, it's as if right when the papacy was about to get killed, the papacy was about to get his deadly wound, the second beast rises up. Interesting. That's America. And then it says here, watch. So back then, we didn't want a pope. We didn't want a king. You know what I mean? Back then they were they were running away from the Pope, who was also the king then in the then known world, Rome, which is now called Europe. And we came here to this land. And look what it says now in verse 11. And I beheld another beast coming up out of the earth, and he had two horns like a lamb, and he spake as a dragon. That's interesting because they were running away from a dragon. Now they're speaking like the dragon. And by the way, if you speak like someone, you act like someone, you are that person's son. Typically, right? Spiritually, you're that person's son. Remember when Jesus Christ was talking to the Pharisees, to the Jews back then, and they're like, hey, we have Abraham for our father. And then he says, if you were Abraham's children, you would do exactly what Abraham did. But you guys don't do that. And so because of that, because you are doing exactly what your father does, the devil, you are the sons of the devil, he says. Sons of Satan. And so if you truly are, the son of someone, in a spiritual sense, you begin to do what they do. Okay, you can have a biological father. You might have a biological father, but spiritually, if you're not doing what your biological father does, but you're doing someone else's, you're being influenced by another man, you're that man's son. Spiritually is what Christ was trying to say in John 8. Here we have a beast, the second beast. And I beheld another beast coming up out of the earth, and he had two horns like a lamb, and he spake as a dragon. So this is a lamb-like beast, but speaks as a dragon. So this beast who speaks as a dragon, the lamb is not the father. Who then is the father spiritually? The dragon, because he speaks like the dragon, right? He has another father. He has two fathers. Oh, wow, this is getting interesting. He has two fathers, because at verse 12 it says, and he exerciseth all the powers of the first beast before him, and causeth the earth and them which dwell therein to worship the first beast, whose deadly wound was healed. Wow. Interesting. The second beast has two fathers. What is this? Homosexuality? Anyways, so he spake as a dragon. The dragon, we know that the dragon is Satan, according to Revelation 12 and verse 9. And then, so he speaks as a dragon, and then now he's doing exactly the same things as the beast. So then the beast is also the father of this entity. So, yeah, it's no secret that the second beast is the United States of America. And he's doing exactly the same exact things. He has the same exact powers as the first beast before him, which is the papacy. And this is why we see a pope or not a pope, a priest, a Catholic priest at the inauguration of Donald J. Trump's, presidency, the second presidential run. I wonder what's going to happen with Project 2025, because if this second beast will exercise all the power of the first beast before him, and causeth the earth and them which dwell therein to worship the first beast whose deadly wound was healed. How do you worship someone? You go to Psalm 95 verse 5. No, Psalm 95 and verse 6. If you go to Psalm 95 and verse 6, it says, "Oh, come, let us worship and bow down." Excuse me. "Oh, come, let us worship and bow down. Let us kneel before the Lord our Maker, for he is our God, and we are the people of his pasture." So you worship someone who is your God, right? You worship someone who is your God. The Pope is called what? The Holy Father. He's not my Holy Father. There's only one Holy Father. That Holy Father is in heaven. But the Pope, he allows people to call him the Holy Father. I think he himself enjoys that title, the Holy Father, right? So if you do exactly what the Holy Father, the Roman Pope says, you are worshiping him, because here it says, "Oh, come, let us worship and bow down." To bow down means to prostrate yourself to the one you're worshiping. You bow down. You submit yourself to the one you are worshiping. When you submit yourself, that means you're obeying whatever he's asking you or commanding you to do. Does the papacy have their own commandments? Yes. You can find this. You can find it out. They let go of the second commandment. The third commandment becomes the second commandment. The fourth commandment becomes the third commandment, and all the other commandments move over. And in order for there to be 10 commandments, they split the 10th commandment into two. Okay, so the papacy has their own commandments, which is not the same commandments of the Bible. Okay, in the Bible, we don't get rid of the second commandment. It's still there. And so if the papacy has its own commandments and you're worshiping the papacy, then you're keeping the commandments of the papacy. By the way, the fourth commandment for the papacy becomes the third commandment, and the third commandment is not the Sabbath for the papacy. It's actually the Lord's Day, which they claim is Sunday, not Sabbath. The Lord's Day is Sabbath, not Sunday, according to Isaiah 56. It talks about the strangers, when God says, "If thou shalt not, trample upon the Sabbath on my holy day," he says, "my holy day." So the Lord speaking, he calls the Sabbath his holy day. So the day of the Lord would be what? The Lord's Day would be the Sabbath. Very simple to, put two and two together. It's very simple to get that answer there. But this is very interesting. So in Revelation 13, again, if you go to Revelation 13, it talks about this second beast exercising all the power of the first beast before him. And he causeth the earth and them which dwell therein to worship the first beast. When is that going to happen? Is that already happening today? I don't believe that it's already happening today, but it is being set up. This whole Project 2025 thing, yes, it is scary, but if this thing were to happen with the Sunday law, it's part of prophecy. They are talking about the whole Sabbath issue, whether it's Sunday or Sabbath, but eventually, just like Constantine. Remember Constantine? When Constantine issued a decree where Sunday and Sabbath are supposed to be kept, by default, it was Sunday. After a while, people stopped keeping Sabbath. They started keeping Sunday. But there is a small group of people that kept Sabbath during that time. During this time, it'll be the same thing. How do you worship? You worship by keeping God's commandments. That's how you worship. Okay? Oh, come, let us kneel, let us worship and bow down. Let us kneel before the Lord our Maker. It says in Psalm 95 and verse 6, it says there, It means to submit yourself, to obey the person that you are worshiping. So how do you obey the person that you are worshiping unless that person has a commandment or a group of commandments? How do you worship? How do you obey someone if they don't have commandments? Okay? If you say that you are obeying God, are you truly obeying God? If you are obeying God, what does that mean? How does that look like to you for you to obey God? How does that look like? How do you obey if you don't have commandments? You know, there's so many people out there, so many Christians out there that say, oh, law no longer needs to obey. Huh? So then how do you obey God? You obey God by doing what he says. What does he say? Oh, I'll tell you what he says. In Exodus 20, look what it says in Exodus 20, right before he gives you the Ten Commandments. He says, Exodus 20 verse 1, and God spake all these words, saying, and then he lists the Ten Commandments. So when you say you obey God, but you're not, and then you say, oh, the Ten Commandments are, done away with. How do you obey? Oh, you just do whatever he says. Well, what does he say? Go to Exodus 20 verse 1. And God spake all these words, saying, Ten Commandments. How do you, that's checkmate right there. Well, what do you want to do? What do you want to do? You want to get rid of the get rid of the chess pieces and start all over again? No, that's checkmate. God said 10 commandments. You know what I mean? But instead we are well, I'm not a part of that group, but some of us are wanting to not keep God's commandments, even though you want to call yourself a Christian. You want the name, but you don't want the responsibility of a Christian. You want the name, you want to be the son. You want to be the son of God, the sons of God, the daughters of God, but you don't want the responsibilities of the Son of God, the sons and daughters of God. What are you then? You would rather keep the commandments of the beast than you would be what? You would be the sons and daughters of the beast. You want to keep the command. And by the way, it is the dragon that gave him that seat and authority, the beast, right? So then that commandment is passed down from the dragon. The dragon is Satan. So then if you want to be the sons of the beasts, or the beast, then you're also the sons and daughters of Satan himself. I mean, there's no other way around it. That's just how it goes. We claim to be Christians. Christian is a follower of Christ, right? We follow his footsteps. Well, what did Christ do? He kept the commandments. So then we should do the same. Oh, but I can't do it. We're sinful. We're sinful. Yeah, I know. That's why you pray and you ask God to give you victory over sin. You rely on him to give you victory over sin. And that's why when he was talking to the 7 churches there in Revelation 2 and 3, he's, all 7 churches, he says, those who overcome. He even said, to the Church of Philadelphia, that because when they overcome, that he will give them the crown of righteousness, the crown of life. And so there's so many. Anyways, Revelation 13 again. Revelation 13. So we see a lot of these things happening today, especially now that this whole thing with Donald Trump and the inauguration, and this whole Catholic priest now there praying at the podium. Is very weird to see, because years and years and years ago that would have never happened, because we were running away from that, and now we have them infiltrating in the presidency there. Let's keep going. And he exercises all the power of the first beast before him, and causeth the earth and them that which dwell therein to worship the first beast, whose deadly wound was healed. That's the papacy. And he doeth great wonders, so that he maketh fire come down from heaven on the earth in the sight of men. So I believe that this is going to happen soon. He's going to make fire come down from heaven, and not only physically, but that's also symbolic. Fire in the Bible Well, we've talked about this before. Fire. Remember the fire that came down during Pentecost. Pentecost was a revival, right? Is there going to be a quote quote revival? What do you call that? A fake revival coming soon? I believe that there's going to be a fake revival coming soon. He makes fire come down from heaven, and deceiveth them. Well, actually, he makes fire come down from heaven on the earth in the sight of men, in the sight of human beings, and deceiveth them that dwell on the earth by the means of those miracles which he had power to do in the sight of the beast. In the sight of the beast. So, in the sight of the beast also means, it doesn't just mean in the sight of the beast, like here you saw it, right? No, it also means that the beast is overseeing this thing. In the sight of the beast, that he's overseeing it. Okay, in the sight of the beast, saying to them that dwell on the earth that they should make an image to the beast, which had the wound by a sword and did live. I believe that this is also happening soon. An image in the Bible is a likeness of something. An image is a likeness of something. So remember when King Nebuchadnezzar made an image of a man, right? It's an image of a man. It's a likeness of a man. And it was of gold. It was 66 by 6. Interesting. So he made an image of a man. This man was who? Nebuchadnezzar. Nebuchadnezzar in chapter 4 turns into a beast. So he made an image of essentially, he made an image of a man that turned into a beast. So he made an image of a beast there in Daniel 3. Same thing here. They want to make an image to a beast. They want to make an image to a beast. And an image is a likeness of something, and that beast is the papacy, and the papacy is a union of church and states. Now we see where Christian nationalism plays a part. Because Christian nationalism, if it does come to pass where church and state unite, that is then the image of the beast. And it's looking like that's what's going to happen 2025. Project 2025 is the image of the beast blueprint. That's pretty much what it is. It's the schematic for the image of the beast. We have very little time left. And I think that the most important thing to do is to pray and to rely on God to give us victory over sin. If we are still sinning, if we are still doing the things that we're not supposed to be doing, if we are still allowing the devil to tempt us and to get us to fall, then we need to have a better relationship with the Lord. And this might be it, man. This might be it. Again, we see, and I'm sure that this has happened before, but tensions are rising. Like there are so many things happening today. The signs of the times has been there. They've been signs of the times since before, but the signs of the times, wars, rumors of wars, kingdom against kingdom, nation against nation, racism, pestilences, famines, earthquakes, climate change. All these things are happening in the frequency building up. Like back then, it wasn't like this, right? Now we see there's so many things happening, and the Bible talks about how the nations are angry. Things are happening, and I think we're looking at all these things, right? We're looking at all these things that are happening on TV, the presidency, and all these things. But I think the better thing to do is to really look at ourselves and to assess what do we need to work on. There's so many things that we see on TV and we're focusing on that, but can we focus on our relationship with the Lord? And I think some of the things that we see on TV, some of the things that we see in the news is a distraction. Yeah, of course it's also good to look at what's happening. It's also good to see these things happening, that we can be alert about what's happening, but we should use that as a driving a driving force to have a relationship with the Lord, have a relationship with God, develop a prayer life, because what good is looking at all these things that are happening in the world and we still get lost? We should see this thing and use it as motivation to spend time with the Lord. And when you spend time with the Lord, you start to realize what's really important. You want your wife to be saved. You want your kids to be saved. You want your relatives to be saved. We see that things are coming to pass. Yes, it's inevitable. Things are going to come to pass. All these prophecies are going to come to pass. It's inevitable, you know. But what are you doing about it? Are you actually spending time with the Lord? Are you actually wiping yourself clean in the blood of the Lamb? Just like it says in Revelation, that those who get the victory, they are the ones that clean themselves with the blood of the Lamb. Are we not becoming Christ-like in our own homes? When we're out here, Christianity, is saturated with so many people debating each other. Hey, you're wrong about this and you're wrong about that. Which, that's important to know doctrine, to know sound doctrine. But more important than that is, hey, how's your walk with God? I see so many of these people that do these debates, and their mouths are nasty. You know what I mean? Like, their mouths are nasty, and they slander so many people. There's you could debate, and that's all fine and wonderful, but how's your character like? Are you actually being a Christian when you're debating? See, this is the reason why I don't really debate, because I already know myself, man. I come from this rap battle thing. I'm not trying to go back there. I don't want to go back there. So yeah, there's so many people. I mean, I'm thinking of a couple individuals in particular that they have all these knowledge. I mean, some of the knowledge that they do have is, it's not biblical, but they're good debaters, even though some of their stances are wrong. But their mouths they're very slanderous, and even as Adventists too, we are also the same. Nobody, when it comes to Adventism, true Adventists know our doctrines, and we know sound doctrine, true. But when it comes to talking with people, even if some people have the different ideas than we do, we're the same as them. We get into these debates and we say all these nasty things to each other. Is that what God wants? Does God want us to be peacemakers? That doesn't mean, though, that we are going to lose principle because we're making peace. We still believe what we believe, but the slandering and the gossiping and things like that. Guys, this thing is wrapping up. We're coming to a close, and we need to do better. Talking to myself as well. There's a lot of things that I do that is not according to God's will, and that's what I need to work on. I need to have a better relationship with the Lord. I think we all do. It's about to, man, you know what? Things are about to get exciting. I'm a little bit excited, but I'm also a little bit nervous, because even though things are going to get exciting and we're one step closer to Jesus Christ coming back and taking us home, it's still, you get kind of nervous because you don't know what's going to happen. You don't know how things are going to play out. But it is exciting times. Anyways, guys, if you guys are blessed by this vlog or whatever this is, study, please like and share. For those of you guys who are supporters, thank you guys for supporting. If you guys want to support, you guys can do so by praying for this ministry and also donating at www.sfp.center. The link is in the description box below. It is all thanks to you guys that we are able to reach people out there, and we are able to make content. And you know, we've gotten so many emails saying that they've gotten baptized because of the documentaries that we've done. And it's all, again, thanks to you guys. Here at SFP, the advancement of the gospel and the truth are made possible by you. And so thank you guys for the support. If you guys want to support, please pray for this ministry and donate at www.sfp.center. The link is in the description box below. Thank you guys again. Praise God always. Peace. Avocado grease. And guys, we need to accept Christ today. We need to repent today. We need to get baptized today and get saved. We're not promised tomorrow. Things are happening already. You guys can see. We're not promised tomorrow. Today is the day of salvation. Praise God always. Peace. Avocado grease. Hare.
Oh, come, oh,
A lot of people are buying into this ideology that when Jesus Christ comes back, that his feet are going to touch the ground and there's going to be a 1,000-year reign on earth.
When Satan is actually bound to this bottomless pit, it's translated, it's actually the Greek word abusos.
and ransom captive Israel.
As long as we are abiding in the Lord and we are growing in sanctification, he gives us victory. He transforms us.
Jesus referred to the need to overcome 7 times.
That mourns in lonely exile.
There is nobody on planet Earth for that 1,000-year period.
The Bible is very clear. There's a period of time where there's no one alive on earth. Jeremiah chapter 4.
Until the Son of God appears.
The wicked dead are resurrected one more time so that they could receive their eternal punishment.
They're judged and then they're cast into the lake of fire.
The reason why the fire is eternal is because the fire is God.
Rejoice, rejoice, Emmanuel.
You know, God can give us victory over any temptation, over any sin, as we just keep our eyes on him.
Only the saved can obey. If you're not saved, you cannot obey. Without Jesus in the heart, you cannot obey. And because only the saved can obey, only the obedient will be saved.